Hello everyone, and welcome back for some more TV and movie gossip, secrets, and drama. As we know, Hollywood is built on chemistry between the actors, but what happens when that chemistry turns toxic? Well, in this video, we're going to be going through 8 actors who had such a bad relationship on set that they refused to work with each other again. We'll be going through what happened, why they fell out, and where things stand between them now. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson, the Fast and Furious. We're starting with one of the biggest action star feuds in recent history. Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson were the powerhouse duo of the Fast and Furious franchise, but their relationship went from family to feud very quickly. In August 2016, everything exploded when Dwayne posted a now-deleted Instagram post during the filming of The Fate of the Furious. He praised his female co-stars, but then threw some major shade at one of his male co-stars, calling them unprofessional and even used the terms candy ass and chicken. While he didn't name names, it became clear that he was talking about Vin Diesel. According to multiple sources, things got so heated that there was actually a tense meeting between the two of them in Dwayne's trailer. One crew member was quoted as saying that by that time, there was already a lot of confusion on set as to what was going on. Dwayne later admitted to Vanity Fair that he should not have made that post, saying, quote, "It goes against my DNA, I don't share things like that." Yet interestingly enough, it was as if every single crew member found their way to me and either quietly thanked me or sent me a note. So you might be wondering what caused this drama. In 2021, Vin Diesel tried to explain his side of the story, telling Men's Health that he used tough love on Dwayne. He claimed his approach was to help get his performance to where it needed to be. Basically, Vin was saying he pushed Dwayne hard because he wanted the best performance possible for his character. But Dwayne didn't agree. He told Vanity Fair that one part of him feels like there's no way he would dignify any of that with an answer. He also revealed that after that Instagram post, he and Vin had what they called a meeting of clarity in his trailer. He said that it became crystal clear that the two of them are on separate ends of the spectrum. The feud allegedly got so bad that according to some reports, for the later Fast and Furious films, Vin and Dwayne actually filmed their scenes separately. However, this part has not necessarily been confirmed by an official source. Dwayne left the main franchise to do the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw with actor Jason Statham instead. When Vin publicly asked Dwayne to return to the movie Fast X in November 2021, Dwayne responded a month later on CNN, basically shutting it down and saying he wouldn't be coming back. But here's the twist. In the summer of 2023, Dwayne shocked everyone by appearing in the Fast X mid-credits scene. He announced on Twitter that, quote, "Last summer, Vin and I put all that past behind us. We'll lead with brotherhood and resolve, and always take care of the franchise, characters, and fans that we love." At the 2025 Golden Globes, Vin took the stage to present an award and gave Dwayne a shout-out saying, "Hey Dwayne." The camera then cut to Dwayne giving an awkward smile. More recently, in January 2025, Vin posted on Instagram celebrating Dwayne's performance in the movie The Smashing Machine, writing about the relationships they have forged along the way. So it seems that Dwayne and Vin may have sort of buried the hatchet, but it took a decade or so for it to happen, and it's unclear if the two of them are actually friends or if they're just cordial for the fans, but their feud has become one of the most talked about in recent Hollywood history. Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall, Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall's relationship is one of the most infamous feuds in TV history, and it's apparently the reason we never got a third Sex and the City movie. The tension reportedly started way back during the original series, which ran from 1998 to 2004. According to a 2008 article by The Telegraph, there were tense contract negotiations before each season, with Kim attempting to get a higher salary. Pay disparity was therefore a major issue. Sarah Jessica, as the lead character and producer, earned significantly more than her co-stars. A 2018 New York Post article claimed that Kim felt that she had been treated horribly by Sarah Jessica Parker for 6 years, with sources alleging a, quote, mean girl culture on set. At the 2004 Emmy Awards, Sarah Jessica, Cynthia Nixon, and Kristen Davis all sat together, while Kim sat alone. Interestingly, for years, both actresses publicly denied that they had a feud. In 2009, Sarah Jessica told Elle magazine, quote, "I don't think anyone wants to believe that I love Kim. I adore her. I wouldn't have done the movie without her, didn't and wouldn't." Kim responded in 2010, telling the Daily Mail that, quote, "Sarah was right. People don't want to believe that we get on. It makes for juicy gossip and copy." She called Sarah a born leader and said they were sick of talking about the supposed drama. But everything then changed in 2017. Plans for a third Sex and the City movie fell through, apparently because of Kim's contractual demands. According to reports, Kim wanted the studio to greenlight an unrelated project of hers as part of the deal. Sarah Jessica told the New York Reporter that, quote, "The studio didn't feel comfortable meeting where Kim wanted to meet, and so we didn't do the movie because we didn't want to do it without Kim." Then, Kim appeared on the show Piers Morgan's Life Stories in September 2017 and dropped a major bomb. Kim said, quote, "I think she," meaning Sarah Jessica Parker, "could have been nicer."
I don't see them. The common ground that we had was the series, and the series is over. This is. It feels like a toxic relationship.
Well, they're all basically blaming you.
I just wish that Sarah had been nicer.
She went on to say, quote, "This is really where I take to task the people from Sex and the City, and specifically Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't know what her issue is." She then added, quote, "We've never been friends. We've been colleagues, and in some ways it's a very healthy place to be." Kim also denied the rumours that the reason she didn't do the movie was because of more money. Things got even worse in 2018 after Kim's brother passed away. Sarah Jessica reached out publicly with condolences, and Kim responded on Instagram by saying, "I don't need your love or support at this tragic time. My mom asked me today, when will that Sarah Jessica Parker, that hypocrite, leave you alone? Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear, you are not my friend." Sarah Jessica was asked about Kim's comments when she appeared on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen in 2018, and this is what Sarah Jessica said.
What was your reaction to Kim Cattrall telling Piers Morgan that you were never friends, just colleagues?
Just heartbroken. I mean, that whole week, you and I spoke about it endlessly, because I was just, I don't know, I found it very upsetting, because that's not the way I recall our experience.
Sarah Jessica also addressed the situation a few years later in 2022 on The Hollywood Reporter's Awards Chatter podcast. She said it's very hard to talk about the situation with Kim because it's very painful. She explained that she never publicly responded to Kim's comments and there is not a fight going on. She said, quote, "There's been no public dispute or spat or conversations or allegations made by me or anybody on my behalf." Sarah Jessica also made it clear that Kim was not asked to be part of the Sex and the City reboot series called And Just Like That because, quote, "she made it clear that was not something she wanted to pursue and it no longer felt comfortable for us." Kim then told Variety in 2022 that she was never asked to be part of the reboot. She said, quote, "I made my feelings clear after the possible third movie, so I found out about it like everyone else did on social media." She added that the greatest compliment I could have as an actor is to be missed. Kim did eventually film a brief cameo for And Just Like That Season 2 in 2023, but she never interacted with Sarah Jessica or the other cast members during filming. It was just a phone call scene. And then, when the series And Just Like That was announced to be ending after Season 3 in 2025, Kim cryptically posted on Instagram saying, "It's the end of a very long week." So it appears that despite Sarah Jessica and Kim working together for years and being part of an iconic friendship group on TV, the two of them are not on good terms in real life, and it's unlikely that that will change anytime soon. Bill Murray and Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels. Sometimes method acting or strong personalities clash in a major way, and it seems that that's exactly what happened between Bill Murray and Lucy Liu on the set of the movie Charlie's Angels in 2000, and it apparently got so bad that Bill was recast for the sequel. Lucy first opened up about the incident in 2021 on the Los Angeles Times Asian Enough podcast. She explained that when they were filming the movie, the cast had taken a weekend to rework a particular scene, but Bill Murray was not able to come because he had to attend a family gathering. When they then came back to set, that's when the problems started. Lucy said Bill started to sort of hurl insults at her. She recalled thinking, quote, "Wow, he seems like he's looking straight at me. I couldn't believe that the comments could be towards me, because what do I have to do with anything majorly important at that time?" When Lucy asked Bill, quote, "Are you talking to me?" it was clear that he was, because then it started to become a one-on-one communication. Lucy said the language Bill used was inexcusable and unacceptable. Even though she was one of the lesser-known actors on set at the time, having been the last one cast, she apparently stood up for herself. She said, quote, "I'm not going to sit there and be attacked." Drew Barrymore, who also appeared in the film and was an executive producer, confirmed the story on her talk show in 2021. She said Bill came in to set that day in a bad mood, but Lucy stood up for herself, and that was the great thing that came out of an unfortunate circumstance. She literally said, quote, "I do not accept that kind of behaviour from you," and we all supported her and backed her up, and we moved forward. A production assistant who worked on the movie named Sean O'Bannon, who was on set that day, shared more details about the feud on Twitter. According to Sean, Bill rewrote a bunch of scenes without telling anybody, including Drew, who was a producer. This then caused a huge amount of confusion on set. Sean claimed that when Lucy spoke up about it being way out of line, Bill said, quote, "I don't know what you're complaining about. I gave you more lines. I mean, look who you're in with here. You're TV and this is the big league." According to Sean, Lucy shouted a swear word at Bill and then she left the set crying, and Cameron Diaz tried to be the peacekeeper. Bill addressed the rumours back in 2009, telling the Times of London, quote, "Look, I will dismiss you completely if you are unprofessional and working with me. When our relationship is professional and you're not getting that done, forget it." Lucy has said that years later, maybe even decades later, some crew members came up to her on the set of other projects and told her that they were there at the time and they were really grateful that she stood up to Bill. She also mentioned that she has seen Bill since at a Saturday Night Live reunion, and he came up to her and was perfectly nice. But she added, quote, "I have nothing against Bill Murray at all, but I'm not going to sit there and be attacked." However, for the second Charlie's Angels movie in 2003, Bill Murray was replaced by actor Bernie Mac. Most people assumed that this decision was made because it would be better to move forward without Bill, and it would hopefully avoid any future arguments on set. However, this has never been officially confirmed and is just speculation. And so, in this example, it seems that the tension between the two of the actors was so bad that they allegedly had to recast the role and find a different actor for the sequel. And if there ever were to be a third Charlie's Angels movie in the future, it will be interesting to see if Bill gets cast again and whether he and Lucy have buried the hatchet. William Shatner and George Takei, Star Trek. The feud between William Shatner and George Takei is probably one of the longest running feuds in TV history, and it shows no signs of ending. William and George both worked together on the original Star Trek series in the 1960s, as well as the first 6 Star Trek films. But what started as a workplace tension has turned into a decades-long mutual feud that's still going strong today. George Takei, who played Lieutenant Sulu, has been incredibly vocal about his issues with William, who starred as Captain Kirk. George has repeatedly called William a, quote, prima donna on set. According to George, William's behaviour during the original series caused serious friction with his co-stars. George even wrote about it in his 1994 memoir and shared several unflattering stories about William. George has alleged that William couldn't stand anyone else getting the limelight, so William would make sure that the other actors had less lines or less camera time than he did.
He enjoys being the center of everything. And when he's on the set, he dominates. You may have heard about some of the difficulties that cast members had. We might be preparing a scene where it'd be a close-up on you, and then it would shift to Bill, and then you'd see Bill in a whispered conversation with the director, and the setup was changed, and it was on Bill, and you were the offstage voice. And so things like that, sometimes has a way of rubbing you.
But although this feud started long ago in the 1960s, the feud is still very much alive today. George has given multiple interviews over the years, talking about how difficult William was to work with. He has described William as self-centered and said, quote, Canadians have a certain image of being even-tempered and friendly and all that. Well, he is a person who is that way with himself. He is very self-centered. William hasn't exactly stayed quiet about the feud either. When asked about George and their feud, William responded, quote, There's such a sickness there. It's painfully obvious that there's a psychosis there. William has also said that he doesn't know George and they barely interacted, so he doesn't know why George has kept saying bad things about him throughout the years.
I don't know the man, okay? I don't know. 50 years ago, there was a young actor named George Takei who would come in a day or two in the week. He'd play his part. He left. I hardly knew him. I didn't know. I had no interaction with him whatsoever. In the last 50 years, the man has blackened my reputation. Every so often I'd get in touch with him and say, what are you doing? I don't know you. What did I do to you? What happened? I've never answered him, but he has continued to spoil my reputation in one way or another. And finally, I thought, that's enough.
However, George has refuted that and said that William is delusional. But here's where things get even more personal. George invited William to his wedding in 2008, but never heard back from him. This wedding snub became yet another chapter in their never-ending drama. It should be noted, however, that there does seem to be some discrepancy with this story about whether William was invited, because at one point, apparently George said he did not invite William, but then on a separate occasion, George said he did invite him. So it's unclear what actually the case is, although William has always maintained that he was never invited, and he also would never have expected to be invited. George has said that William enjoys the publicity that he gets from their feud, which is why it's never died down. What makes this feud particularly notable is how public and ongoing it is. Most Hollywood feuds eventually fade away or get resolved, but this one has not. After more than 50 years, these two Star Trek legends still can't stand each other. They appeared in 6 films together and 3 seasons of TV, but it's unlikely you'll ever get them in the same room again. In various interviews, cast members from Star Trek have commented on the situation. The general consensus seems to be that Williams' behaviour as the star of the show created tension with multiple cast members, but George has been the most willing to speak up about it publicly and consistently over the years. At this point, the feud has become almost as legendary as Star Trek itself. It's a reminder that sometimes working relationships can be permanently damaged, and no amount of time or distance can seemingly fix them. And so, there you go. There was a video about 8 actors who refused to work with each other after they had major feuds. Did you know about any of these feuds before? And which one of them surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to get early access to my videos as well as other benefits, please consider subscribing to my Patreon. It just costs a few dollars a month and it really helps support my channel, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. Please make sure you like and comment on this video to help tell the algorithm this is a great video, and please make sure you subscribe to my channel because it really does make a huge difference. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in a future video. Thank you, bye!